Where do the Detroit Lions stand this year after not making the playoffs last year? Let's get into that right now. Welcome everybody to Top Dog Coverage. It's your boy Dirty with your boy C-Dub on this lovely Tuesday night. We are here to talk a little bit about the Detroit Lions and their offseason on this today's episode. Got a little tongue-tied there. But if you haven't yet, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and comment down below. Yeah, I mean, Detroit Lions have been in a position for the past couple of years to make a couple of different playoff runs, and which they have. And last year they felt kind of short. So this offseason was definitely something to look forward to, and their draft. So we will get into all of that, but I will throw it over to my co-host C-Dub. C-Dub, how are you feeling today, and what is going on?
Feeling good. Detroit Lions, a very intriguing team, especially considering their 2025 season. And we'll get into it once we start diving deeper into it, once we have the news and whatnot. But very interesting team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a big bounce back. But Lions, we'll see what Dan Campbell's got in store for the 2026 season.
Yeah, very close division last year. Everything was pretty, tightly kept. Wins, losses. Nobody really blew anybody out of the water. Everything stayed pretty close. So we'll see how that goes this season. If anything separates, maybe even stays more tightly knitted together. But we'll dive all into that. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel and everything on at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and stay connected, and Spotify and Apple. And swipe up on Spotify and Apple, hit the 5 stars, leave a comment, go to topdogcoverage.com and vote for the top 5 NFL teams that you guys believe are the top 5 NFL teams. But before we grab into anything, we got a little news to talk about, right, C-Dub?
That we do.
We always got a little bit of something, I think. But check it out. All right.
Most days.
Yeah. It's time for the news. The news is brought to you by NorthStashHall.com. If you guys want some hot sauce or some honey wine, some mead, go to NorthStashHall.com. Make sure you pick up yours today, based out of West Virginia. All right. C-Dub, you want to hit us off with a little action?
Yeah, I want to get started with this is a guy that I've been following since the Bleacher Report days. He's an ESPN draft analyst, Mr. Matt Miller. Our prayers and thoughts are with him and his family. He actually tweeted out this morning that last week he was involved in a serious car accident, and I'll read it directly from him. So last week I was involved in a serious car accident in Missouri and was airlifted to Mercy Hospital. I'm deeply grateful for the exceptional care I've received from the first responders to the doctors, nurses, and medical staff. I'm incredibly fortunate to be writing this. As a result of the accident, I sustained significant injuries, including multiple fractures and broken ribs. I also underwent a life-saving amputation of my left arm. While I have a long road ahead, I'm focused on my recovery and taking things one day at a time. Thank you for the overwhelming support, prayers, and kind messages. They have meant so much to me and my family during this time. I look forward to continuing my recovery and getting back to ESPN to talk football, including what should be an exciting 2027 NFL draft class. So, a couple of things stand out. Matt Miller is a grade A human being. He's going through this serious life change, this tragic accident. And the first thing that he does, he wants to tweet out and thank all the people that helped him survive and get through this, right? All the people at the hospital, from the first responders, everything. And it just shows you what type of character he is. And, I think, I really hope that he's able to recover as quickly as possible. And he's one that I've always valued his opinion, and I've really enjoyed his stuff. So, again, thoughts and prayers out to Matt Miller and his family.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely just shows what kind of character, he has, giving thanks to somebody else even after he's just lost. You know what I mean? So shows a lot about somebody and who they really are. So comment down below, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you guys think, and make sure just keep the prayers and the thoughts in there with him and his family. So I really do hope it's a speedy recovery, whatever that recovery looks like, because that sounds intense. So
yeah.
I'm going to go to a different part, maybe over to my area. Still a little bit of bad news, but a little bit better. But the police are reviewing assault allegations against Jets Geno Smith. So police were called on June 22nd to Jets cornerback Geno Smith's home in Davie, Florida on Sunday over an alleged battery report. In a video posted on Instagram, a woman named Kristen alleged that Smith beat my bleep. She also accused Smith of running outside and attacking her, breaking her computer, and stealing money from her car. The footage of her video includes Smith arguing with her and telling someone on the phone she just called the police. The end of the 85-second clip shows Smith speaking with 3 officers, though no one was taken into custody. That was the only time police were called to Smith. That was the only time anybody was called to Smith's home. It is not an active case, but still being reviewed. So as of June 23rd, we were informed yesterday evening that during review, it was determined that this case is being further investigated by detectives. Now, a new statement from Davie PD spokesperson read, "It is active and we cannot release any additional information at this time." So as of now, a little bit of drama going on over, one Jets drive. I'll say actually down in Davie, Florida, but at the same time, if you watch the video, it kind of looks a little odd, and I don't know. It's people just watch who you keep in your life, all right? Because sometimes they'll be there forever. So that's all I gotta say.
True that.
Yeah.
And I guess speaking of who you want to keep in your life, we have another twist and turn of the Sorsby saga, if you will. So, Brendan Sorsby was on course to participate in the supplemental draft as his means of entering the NFL in 2026. That will not be taking place, however. So the NFL announced on Tuesday that the supplemental draft will not be held in 2026. As a result, Sorsby will not be able to turn pro this summer. The embattled Texas Tech quarterback will instead be eligible for the traditional NFL draft in April 2027. So, in a letter addressed to Sorsby from the NFL's Management Council via Ian Rappaport, details the league's reasoning for the decision, and it reads as, "Under our collective bargaining agreement, the league retains sole discretion to determine whether it is appropriate to conduct a supplemental draft in any given year. The league has not conducted such a draft for several years, and prior to your submission, the league had no plans to do so this year, as no other player has sought entry. The issues presented by your petition are too significant and too closely tied to the league's core integrity interests to permit meaningful review within the timeline presented. Even after receiving notice of the NCAA's decision rescinding your college eligibility in May, you sought to avoid the consequences of that determination through litigation rather than accepting responsibility for your actions, and you pursued entry into the NFL only after abandoning those efforts. So Sorsby spent time this spring in a rehab facility for treatment for a gambling addiction. Has been followed by a lengthy, controversial-filled saga over his NCAA eligibility. Attempts to be granted for 2026 fell short at first, with the NCAA denying him reinstatement, although a surprise injunction against the NCAA seemed to put Sorsby on track to play for the Red Raiders this fall. Sorsby's attorneys later dropped their suit against the NCAA and turned their attention to turning pro, although today's news means that will not be possible. So, obviously, the NFL has not done a supplemental draft since 2023, and the last time a player was selected was 2019, which was the safety Jalen Thompson, who the Cardinals took. I believe he's with the Cowboys now. So,
I mean, look, you play stupid game, you get stupid prizes, right? I mean, and it's not like they're a multi-billion-dollar company. So they see something like this and they're taking it very, very seriously, these gambling policies. So they don't want that kind of activity going on, even though it seems kind of contradictory at times that, hey, go to FanDuel, go to this, go to that. But it always says bet responsibly, right? This is not responsibly. So Comment down below,
Yeah.
subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you guys think about this saga as well. You know, it's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He had a really good chance to really solidify a first round status in this class, and it just these college athletes. I mean, it's unfortunately it's really accessible to be able to participate in these different type of bettings and whatnot. But I mean, this guy, I think it was reported like over 2,000 bets, and he even betted on teams like on his own teams games and stuff like that, which is like I don't know. I think it was when he was a backup, but at the same time, like still, that's just it's an unfortunate situation. I'm glad he went to the rehab facility. As he said, he was addicted to it. So hopefully he did get past this. And you want to see the bright future for this young man. But fortunately, actions have consequences.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so much you could do for somebody, so he's got to try to help himself. And look, if he ever has a chance to do anything at this point, he's really going to have to dig himself out of the hole here. So, all right, let's, I'll go to one last piece of news, which is we have some good news here. That's pretty good. 25% of this. So the Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts agree on an extension. So the Falcons have now extended 2 of their 3 top 10 picks at the skill positions. They are allowing Drake May his payday with a Kyle Pitts re-up. So Pitts has a 3-year deal in place, according to Adam Schefter. Given the franchise tag in March, Pitts will now be tied to a 3-year, $54 million contract through 2028. The deal includes $36 million fully guaranteed. While this is not a market-topping tight end accord, the $36 million guaranteed number certainly did plenty to entice Pitts, who is coming off of a bounce-back 2025 season. So at $18 million per year, Pitts becomes the NFL's 3rd highest paid tight end. George Kittle, Trey McBride saw 2025 extensions move the tight end bar past the $19 million AAV mark. And as this space has continually tabbed this position as being underpaid, terms with quality tight ends continue to take advantage of a glacial market. As wide receivers are now past $42 million per year, the NFL does not have a $20 million AAV tight end. Still just 25, despite being drafted in 21. Pitts has been somewhat frustrating player, one who regressed after a 1,000-yard rookie year. Pitts saw his second season shortened by an injury with his MCL tear, and said midway through the 2023 season he was not 100% recovered. Pitts still averaged more than 12 yards per reception in 2023 and 2024, playing every Atlanta game in that span. So, you know what? Hopefully, and the guy was a freak of nature at the combine. We saw what he could do. We saw, when he is healthy, when they do give him the ball, he does make plays. So hopefully this can maybe turn some things around. I mean, he got paid. That doesn't mean it's over. But, I'll say this. Fantasy football players are frustrated with him, right? But just as a football player alone, I really hope it works out for him. I hope he gets the numbers that he really wants to be a successful tight end, not just by the paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, when he's coming out, I mean, he had the size, the speed, like you said, athletic freak, right? And he just hasn't been able to put it all together. But as he matures in the league, and this will be his 5th season, right? So hopefully he can put it all together and maybe have a breakout season. We'll see.
Yeah, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you guys think. But we are here. Let's dive into a little Lions action, little Detroit Lions. Let's head up north to the NFC North, and let's see what they have rocking and rolling. So what are some stats? What are some 2025 areas we're looking at here, C-Dub?
All right. So this is the 2025 Detroit Lions, right? This is a team that lost, what was it, 17 coaches, something like that? It was something astronomical.
They lost like seven coaches. I'm gonna go off the top of the head here. Offense coordinator, defensive coordinator, defensive line, quarterbacks, assistant coach.
They lost the chef, the line cook. I mean, they lost some of the
hot
hospitality staff.
Yeah, hot dog thrower, everybody. Yeah.
Dan Campbell couldn't keep a soul. But
Poor guy.
despite that, how do you think this offense fared with no Ben Johnson last year?
The offense still moving and grooving. I'll say that. I would say that Goff was taking a couple more hits than he should have been taking, and it showed. Definitely when you lose that many coaches, a lot more personalities come into the building, or a lot more different coaching styles, I'll say, come in, and teams have to adapt, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that kind of showed a little bit. So,
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, this team finished 9-8 with every single one of the division rivals finishing above 500. So they were tied for third with a 9-8 record, right? And this is a team that averaged 28.3 points per game, which was fourth in the NFL. But don't let that distract you from the Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. In terms of the yards per game, the Lions averaged 372, which was fifth in the NFL. So the offense was still humming. It's great.
Yeah.
Right. Defense, other side of the coin. Right. Points against, they allowed 24.3, which was 22nd in the NFL. And then yards allowed per game, they allowed 317, which was 13th in the NFL. So defense still needs more. I mean, obviously, they had a ton of injuries. I believe they lost both their safeties, midway through the season. The offense wasn't as consistent. The numbers look good, but I don't think in terms of efficiency and consistency, I don't believe that they were there. But yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting team, and they're a really tough division.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure they made a bunch of free agency moves, right?
Yeah. So let me jump into that real quick and go through. I'll start off with a couple of their own signings, and they only made one deal that was 3 years. Okay, everything else is a 1-year deal. So I'll go over their re-signings, who was Rocky Sin, cornerback, 1 year, 3.2. Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker, 2.75. Avante Maddox, cornerback, 1 year, 1.487. And Trevor Nowaski, linebacker, 1 year, 1.35. Okay. And then Tom Kennedy, wide receiver, 1 year, 1.235. And those are the guys that they re-signed. But the only major position that they gave a 3-year deal to was Cade Mays, the center from the Panthers, who was 3 years, $25 million. Then they went Larry Boom, right tackle, 1 year, $5 million. And back to the Panthers, they went edge, DJ Wanham, edge, 1 year, $3 million. And they went Christian Isian, the safety out of the Bucks, 1 year, $2 million. Kansas City's Isaiah Pacheco, running back, 1 year, $1.8 million, which I think was a steal right there. Chuck Clark as their safety from Pittsburgh Steelers, 1 year, 1.4. Texans Damone Clark, linebacker, 1 year, $1.4 million. Roger McCreary from the Los Angeles Rams, 1 year, 1.4, the cornerback there. Greg Dortch, the wide receiver, also return specialist here, 1 year, $1.4 million. And then the Dolphins, Cedric Wilson, wide receiver, 1 year, $1.3 million. And Tyler Conklin, the tight end from the Chargers, 1 year, $1.3 million. And Joe Bacci, linebacker from the Titans, 1 year, 1.2. And then Jay Tufele from the Jets, defensive line, 1 year, 1.215. And Ben Barch, the guard, 1 year, $1.2 million. So a lot of 1 years, a lot of Band-Aids here, trying to get some depth in there. I would point out one or two major ones here. And this is just me. I think Isaiah Pacheco is a solid one right there, along with Chuck Clark as the safety from Pittsburgh. And I'm trying to think who else they got. But if you also look at the, Cade Mays, they need the center. Then they went after Larry Borum, the right tackle. Then they're going after depth there, with Ben Barch, right? They're trying to grab people because they don't want to make the same mistake of getting these defensive linemen through and having Jared Goff run for his life. So I think that's what they were trying to do. And they had two huge injuries in the backfield last year with Brian Branch and Joseph Kirby. And that could really hurt your back end if you don't have reliable people ready to rock and roll next man up. Those are two pretty good safeties right there. Joseph Kirby getting the opportunity after he just got signed, right? He got that big paycheck and kind of goes down. Brian Branch, not even sure if he's going to be ready to come back to late this year. So, I mean,
torn Achilles.
Yeah, you gotta make adjustments. So,
yeah, and a couple guys. I don't remember if you said their names, but they also signed Peyton Turner, coming over, the former first rounder from the Saints that was with Dallas last season, coming over to add some edge depth behind Aiden Hutchinson.
mm-hmm.
And then also Cedric Wilson Jr., the receiver from Boise State that spent time with the Cowboys, Miami, Saints, and now with Detroit. So I'm sure he's very familiar with that offensive scheme that they're going to try to be running over there. And then they also traded for Juice Scruggs from Houston.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a guy that's had some interior flexibility. He can play guard, center, across the line. So just another chess piece that you can use to add to that offensive depth pieces there. So I like a lot of the moves, a lot of low budget, a lot of prove it type deals.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, this is a team that's dealt with injuries the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to try to add as much competitive depth as possible. So, and you can't forget Teddy Two Gloves. And he's back as the backup quarterback there.
Who doesn't like him? Everybody likes him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, couple different pickups. Nothing too crazy, just enough to do what they need to do to fill in the gaps here and to control what they can control. And in the words of C-Dub, do what you can, not what you can't. And you want to take us over right to the, we'll sway right into the NFL drafter?
Yeah, so this is a team that finished with 7 picks total in the draft class, right? And to kick things off in the first round, pick 17 overall, they took your favorite player in the class, Blake Miller, offensive tackle from Clemson.
I knew you were going to say it. So before anybody knows, we were in the Phil Savage class, and based upon the film that I saw, I was not impressed by this kid by any means, okay? And it's the film that we watched. So, I mean, maybe he can improve here. They got good coaches over there, but I had
this guy with 54 career starts in the ACC.
Yeah, I did not see him as a good player at all. Okay, so I'll take the loss on that one. He went as a first rounder. Still has to pan out. Look, we all make mistakes here. I've made my fair share, but I've also made my fair share of opposing wins. So, we'll see what happens in the future.
All right. So, I mean, this dude played a ton of career games. He started a lot of games. I think he only missed 1 practice due to like an epidectomy or something like that. I don't know. It was something crazy, but we'll see how he does at the right tackle. But again, you're going to have him slide into your right tackle, and you'll have Penei Sewell switch to the left. But from there, round 2, pick 44 overall, they took the edge Derek Moore from Michigan. Got really good size and length coming out of there. I mean, he's pretty good run defender as well. So he's going to be a nice complement to Aiden Hutchinson on the other side there. 2 Michigan men, if you will. And then in the 4th round, pick 118 overall, they went back to Michigan and took linebacker Jimmy Rolder, redshirt junior, who's he's got really good instincts and really consistent in terms of the run game. But he was only 1 year starter in college, so he's one that's going to be able to kind of be molded. And this is a team that's lost some linebackers with Anzalone going down to Tampa Bay and whatnot, so you can fit him in there at some good depth. And then in the 5th round, 157 overall, they took cornerback Keith Abney II from Arizona State. So he's a feisty boundary corner that he's able to play inside and outside. So most likely he'll probably play nickel in the pros, but pretty good corner. He did well at Arizona State, so it'll be interesting to see how he does in the scheme. And then in the 5th round, 168 overall, they took receiver Kendrick Law from Kentucky. So this is a Alabama transfer who has compact build and really good with yards after the catch. He's got, decent, strong hands, and, he's pretty good after the catch, but he did tear his ACL in practice, so he will be out for the season. So it's unfortunate there. And then the 6th round, pick 205, they took Skylar Gill Howard, the defensive tackle from Texas Tech. So he's an undersized one gapper. They use his suddenness and leverage to help make plays within the backfield. So good depth to add across the defensive line. And then they double dip. They in the 7th round, 222 overall, they took Tyree West, the defensive tackle from Tennessee. So he didn't have a lot of snap counts and very low starts in his career. But he's a decent athlete. He's got kind of plays in that 5 tech right there in the even front. So which is what the Lions run. So he's one that can kind of grow and develop within their system, but very, very, unfinished product there, if you will.
Yeah, I like the strategy that they did here. They, look, they try to solidify their center in the free agency market. Then right away they take what they believe to be the best offensive tackle off the board at where they were, and they grabbed another offensive tackle. So I mean, this is or they worked on the interior, and then they worked on they signed the right tackle. Now they're getting a solidified tackle straight out of Clemson, who's played, like you said, 54 games. But I like what they did here. They kept kind of local. You get your edge out of Michigan, and you get linebacker out of Michigan in 2nd and 4th round, right? I don't think people understand that those kind of picks right there, if those are your guys, bring a lot of juice to the team. Being from around the area, and bringing that into the locker room, that does a lot. It really, really does, especially if you believe in this player. I mean, they're not just going to pick him for no reason. But then, like you said,
Michigan typically has a good defense too.
Yeah, absolutely, they do.
Won the Natty a few years ago, whatnot, and it was mainly on their defense.
Yeah,
right. So
absolutely. Then you go to Arizona State. You grab this cornerback who is actually very feisty kind of guy, really good in press coverage. Although, like, he can use a lot of coaching. He tends to hold on a little bit, draw some penalties and everything, but he acts kind of more like a wide receiver in that little nickel spot area. But very feisty. If he's coachable, I think he can really live up to his potential. Unfortunately, Kendrick Law having that injury, but we'll see where he can land when he comes back from that. But I like the double dip here with Skylar Gill-Howard and Tyree West, the defensive tackles. Is there any other way you want to tell me you want to stop the run here? You know what I mean? So you're really trying to do what you got to do to win this division. You are not trying to come in 4th place again with a 9-8 record. That is a really good division with wins with 9-8, and you're still in 4th place. So it's competitive.
And what's interesting about that Tyree West pick as well, he was drafted as a DT, but they're actually listing him at defensive end for the Lions. So position switch.
I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. All right. I like that. So yeah, I mean, and by the way, going back to
BT Dubs.
Huh?
Is that BT Dubs, by the way?
BT Dubs. Yeah, I like the fact that they did do the trench work in the beginning, and then their guys were at the end here. You know what I mean? So, and in between, they got their offensive tackle, they got their edge, they got their linebacker. Then they fooled around with whatever they had to fool wide receiver, and then they went right back to the other side of the ball. Hey, let's get this again. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. So in the words of C-Dub, they're eating their vegetables here. It's not sexy. It's not great. They're doing what they have to do right now in order to win football games, even if it's close. If you're putting up 28 points a game last year and you could still do that and have a chance to put up maybe 31 points a game, you're going to be winning a lot more football games. You're going to be coming in maybe second or even taking a division here. It's a very, very tough division to win here. So.
So you're picking them to win the division? Is what
No, actually, I picked them to come in last place, if you remember last year.
Last year was a long time ago.
Last year was a very long time ago. But we can, if you want, we can move into the depth chart area and go over, the little areas of what they got going on over here.
Special teams?
Yeah, we can. All right. But let's go over the Brad Holmes as the GM, Dan Campbell, as we know, biting kneecaps off as the head coach, and Drew Pedzing, the offensive coordinator, along with the defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, and then Dave Phipp as the special teams coordinator. So still got the punter, Jack Fox, Jake Bates as the place kicker, and Hogan Hatton, the long snapper. A lot of long snapper love on this show. Then you have Greg Dortch, coming over from Arizona, doing that punt return and kick return, and then Tom Kennedy behind him and Jacob Sailors as that third string backup over there. So, C-Dub, as always, sir, I shall pass the torch on to you, and you will choose offense or defense, and I will take it on from there.
Yeah, before we move on to that, I just wanted to note, Kelvin Shepard, he was a linebacker for LSU, but he played for the Bills. He was a guy that I really liked, and I always wanted him to be like this stud, and he was okay, but he's pretty good DC too. I like Kelvin Shepard. So
nice.
Yeah.
Any relation to Nathan Shepard?
Probably not. Don't believe so.
Rats. Okay.
No. All right. I guess. Man, which one? This is
I know.
I don't know. Neither of them really like excite me that much, to be honest. But I guess I'll go offense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's always fun to score points, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this is a team that's going to have 2 new starters out of the 11, if you will, right? So we'll get started with the pass catchers. That's the flashy, the fun positions, right? So you have the second-year man, Isaac Tesla, at the left wide receiver position, Jamison Williams at the right wide receiver position, and slot receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are your big 3, right? So those are your guys going to be funneling most of the targets. Behind them, you have Cedric Wilson Jr., Tom Kennedy, and Greg Dortch coming over from Arizona. Then you have Lucky Jackson, Jackson Meeks, Dominic Lovett, and then Tariq Black, Tay Martin, Malik Cunningham, and Lawrence Keys. So tons of depth. Most of those are just speed camp bodies. So we'll see how it shakes out there. And then in terms of the offensive line, this is what you have to invest in. This is what you need to protect Jared Goff. He has a clean pocket. You're going to get a good Goff. He has a dirty pocket. You're going to get a bad Goff, right? Yep. So from left tackle, you got Penei Sewell, the first rounder from 2021, probably best tackle in the league, if you will, at least up there in the conversation. Left guard, you have Christian Mahogany, the 6th rounder from 2024 class. You have Cade Mays, the free agent coming over from Carolina, talked about earlier. Then you have the 2nd rounder from last season, Tate Ratledge, or from last draft class, rather, coming over there at the right guard spot. And then you have Blake Miller, the first round, 17th overall pick, slotting in at right tackle, where, again, he has 54 starts. So we'll see how he implements within the starting 5. And then behind them, you got some okay depth, right? You have Giovanni Manu, Ben Barch, Drew Scruggs, Miles Frazier, Larry Borum. Behind those guys, you got Devin Cochran, Colby Sorsdale, Michael Neese, Melvin Priestley, Mason Miller, and then Seth McLaughlin. So tons of different names, ton of different moves that they made. They've signed some free agents, got some undrafted guys. So again, the big emphasis was putting healthier bodies and making sure you had depth there, because you don't want your season to fall apart because you can't protect Jared Goff, excuse me. All right. And then we'll go into the tight ends, the extension of the offensive line, also pretty good pass catchers. So you have Sam Laporta, the 2nd rounder from 2023. You have Brock Wright behind him, Tyler Conklin, the newbie coming over from the Chargers, Zach Horton, here's a who, Thomas Gordon, and then Miles Kisselman. So a lot of depth here in this tight end room. It'd be interesting to see if they keep 3 or more, right? I could definitely see keeping maybe 4, especially as most of the league goes towards these 2-3 tight end sets, if you will. And then this is a team that does not employ a fullback. So shame on the Lions. Dying breed there. But in terms of running backs, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, the electric running back from Alabama, the 1st rounder in 2023. Isaiah Pacheco coming over from Kansas City. Sione Vaki, the multiple player that played safety and running back in college. So you got some good depth there. Jacob Sailors. You have Jabari Small, and then Kyle Robichaud, excuse me. So some interesting names. You have some depth, but is it good depth? I'm not really too sure. Like, you have your top 2 guys, your 1-2 punch, and then prayers if they have to take a bulk of the carries during the season, right?
Yeah. And
then this quarterback room, you have Jared Goff, the forgotten man in the Los Angeles Rams, who was part of the Matthew Stafford trade, switched places there. He's done well for himself in Detroit. I believe he's now played more games as a Lion than he did as a Ram. So good for Jared Goff. Then you have Teddy Bridgewater backing him up. And then you have the undrafted free agent Luke Altmaier, who played at Illinois. So this is a guy that, was kind of sneaky. I'm surprised he didn't get drafted. He had pretty good seasons at Illinois there to finish his career. So it'd be a name to keep an eye out for as he's playing through the preseason. And that is your Detroit offense.
Yeah, looking at this, they do have a very deep tight end. I would say that Zach Orton's probably going to fill that fullback position as he's played that before. I do like their tight end position over here. It is very deep. Brock Wright has played a significant amount of snaps. Sam Laporta is Sam Laporta, and Tyler Conklin is no slouch. Like when he needs to step up, he steps up. He's a decent blocker. So I think that tight end group goes pretty deep on how they usually try to run things. And yeah, I would say looking at that depth of that offensive line, I think they did a pretty good job of making sure that there's patches, not just so much at the front. They did what they had to do. They made a lot of competition in that center spot, which is very, very important, which controls the entire offensive line. You have Sewell on that left tackle who is an anchor for, that left side, but then all of a sudden you bring in a new kid, and you also have somebody backed up that came over, I believe, from the Chargers with the right tackle position as well, I believe. And
Larry Borum came from
Miami, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think one of the guards came from somewhere, but regardless, I think they did a really good job here patching in holes the best way that they could, along with the draft. So I kind of like.
And I have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, do you think, Penei Sewell, he's played right tackle his entire career. Mm-hmm. Do you think switching to the left side, we see any type of fall off, or do you think there's any type of adjustment period at all?
I really don't, dude.
Switching to left?
I really don't. I think this is a cat that I'll have to look back to see if he did play it in college at all. Maybe like a few.
I believe he did it at Oregon. I think he played it. I think he played along a lot of different positions at offensive line, but I do believe he was left tackle there.
I think when he came out, everybody knew he was I think those questions were always asked, hey, are you versatile? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I think they've seen that on the tape. And, I think they're just like, hey, dude, we need you here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need you there. And I honestly, I think he's just going to come in, plug and play, and act like he's been playing left tackle his entire career. I really do. I think he's that kind of player.
Yeah, I think it'd be very similar to the transition we saw with Tristan Wirfs when he went from the right side to the left side with Tampa Bay. Pretty seamless. I mean, I believe he was an all-pro at both positions too. So I do believe that he is the type of player that has extremely high ceiling, and I don't see them being any fall off. I just don't. I don't think there'll be any slight adjustments or transitions at all. I think he'll just come in and light it up from day one too. So I just want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah. That's and no, it's a solidified question. Some people moving from one side to the other, sometimes it does not work out for them. And I mean, that's just what it is, and by having a 335-pound, 6'5" man just sitting there mauling you, I mean, and that's on your right side. Now you're switching him over to the left side, and you have the new kid coming in from Clemson with a little bit of backup from Miami. I think that's a really solidified line right there, going all the way across the happy face. So I like it.
Yeah. It's like driving on the right side and then switching to driving on the left side of the road.
As a mailman, I know exactly what that's like.
See, there you go.
Yeah, let me take you over to the defensive side there, where I'll go through the front four starters on this defensive line. So the left side, you have Aiden Hutchinson from that 2022 first rounder, and then Tyleik Williams, last year's first rounder, that defensive tackle, and then Alan McNeil from the 2021 draft in the third round, and then you have Derek Moore from this year's Michigan, who's 6'4", 255 in the second round. So, you're going to have these front guys coming in. So you have a first rounder, third rounder, second rounder. So they're going to be well coached over there. But again, looking at their second string players right behind them, a lot of people plug and play. You know what I mean? They're going to move. They're going to be moving people around, and that's okay. But right behind Aiden Hutchinson, you have Peyton Turner coming from Dallas, and then you drafted the 5 technique. But also, like you said, they're moving him into the kind of edge area with Tyree West, that 7th rounder from Tennessee, and he's versatile. And you have Tyler Lacey, who had come over from Jacksonville, and Eric O'Neal, who's going to be fighting for a position on this team as well. And right behind that left defensive tackle, behind Tyleek Williams, will be Levi Onwuzurike, 21 second rounder. So he's a dude that's been kind of, waiting to get his spot in there. He's been injured once or twice. And then you have Makai Wingo from the 2024 sixth rounder, and then Chris Smith and Aiden Kianani. Or I'm sorry, Kianiana. Sorry, said that wrong. Then you have the right defensive tackle, Ellen McNeil. But then you have Jay Tafili that was signed from the Jets, and then you made that's one of the last defensive tackles that you made with Gil Howard, Skylar Gil Howard. A little bit of a smaller size there. He's 6'1", 280, but like I said, really good coaching over there. He's kind of huddled back there, trying to make the team. Just because you got picked doesn't mean you automatically have a spot. So he's going to have to be fighting for that spot as well, but he is going to have to earn a spot. These are very, very talented defensive linemen on this team. And then you have Miles Adams, who ended up coming over from, he was on Carolina and Seattle. Now he's back over here at Detroit. He was a defensive tackle over at Rice. So then you have behind the newly Michigan Derek Moore, you have a Carolina DJ Wonham and the Ahmed Hassanian. So he was a 2025 sixth round pick, but he was also an exempt international player. So, and then you have Anthony Lucas, who's came over from USC he's only 21 years old, and he was a free agent signing as well. So he's going to have to be looking to fill that gap. So going into the linebackers position here. So you have Malcolm Rodriguez, Jack Campbell. I'm a big fan of Jack Campbell. I thought his pro day and his combine were spectacular. And then you have Derek Barnes. So you have these three linebackers that are going to work out pretty good. And again, if you look behind these guys, they filled in people behind them. So right behind Malcolm Rodriguez in that will linebacker position, you have Jimmy Rolder, the fourth rounder coming over from Michigan, 6'2", 238. So he's going to have a really good mentor in front of him to show him what to do. And then you signed the Tennessee Joe Bacci. And then you have Jack Campbell in that middle. And you have Houston's Damon Clark, who's also going to be coming in there. He was over in Dallas and Houston, and now he's here in Detroit. But sitting behind Jack Campbell, anybody that's coming from, what was the head coach's name over in Houston? D'Amico Ryan. Yeah, dude. Like I think you're going from one great head coach to another great head coach with a defensive mind, and I think this is really good depth right here. So I'm liking the way this is looking. And then you have Eric Hunter, who is coming in as a little undersized from Morgan State. And we'll see what he could do if he was able to make the depth chart. And you got Derek Barnes and that Sam linebacker and that Trevor Nowaski. They didn't really do too much in that area. But then I'm going to take you over to the cornerbacks. So Terrion Arnold on the one side, and then on the other side, DJ Reed, who's seen a couple different places, including my New York Jets. So he's been on Seattle, New York. And then you have the nickel spot, Roger McCreary, who was signed over from the Los Angeles Rams. So a little bit more grittiness getting added into this depth chart for these DBs. So behind Terrion Arnold, that left cornerback, you did make the choice to grab Keith Abney. Okay, they might slot him over. I know it says left over here, but he's played a pretty good pro nickel for a while, so they might move him around as a chess piece a little bit here and there. And then you have Nick Whiteside, and then you have Deshaun Rucker. And going from that area, you had DJ Reed along with Rocky Sin, which was he's been around a couple different places, I believe. I think he was over in San Francisco, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Baltimore, and now he's here in Detroit. I think that's really good depth as well. And then you have Khalil Dorsey behind him. And in that nickel, again, you have behind Roger McCreary, you have Ennis Rakestraw Jr. and then Amaris Brown, who came over from UNLV, 5'9", 190, kind of a feisty dude, but he's going to have to really fight for a spot on this team too. I mean, there's so much competition here, but I do see Keith Abney really kind of, I think they're going to place him in a couple different packages so that maybe special teams and such too. He has a lot of different talent that he can do here. So, but I'm going to take you over to the strong safety and free safety, where it's Brian Branch, who got hurt last year, and uh, you know, Kirby Joseph, and they had to make some. They had to make some. I'm surprised they didn't get any draft picks out of this, but obviously they went with who they believed, and that's Christian Isian from Tampa Bay, who was, look, if you look at it, he's coming from a defensive head coach, so you're going to look for him to come in, and you have Dan Jackson behind him, and this is in the from Georgia, but you have Dan Jackson behind him. This is in that strong safety, and then Lauren Strickland. So I think there's going to be more of a competition here to see who's really going to earn this and who's going to land it. And then you have Chuck Clark, who has played more than enough snaps in that free safety to take in the Kirby Joseph area. And then you have Avante Maddox who came over from Philly, I believe 3 years ago. No, actually 4 years ago, I think. And then Thomas Harper. So these guys are going to really, I don't know how they're going to work this IR spot and what they're going to do with these two safeties, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult to replace two studs over in the backfield there. And we're going to have to see how that goes. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have some trouble defending the backfield, not having those two star, safeties.
Yeah. And Maddox joined the team last season when he was waived by the Eagles. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a team that we're not even sure if either of these safeties are going to start the season healthy and be able to play. So I think this could be an opportunity where you carry maybe an extra safety or two to start your season out when you're constructing your 53-man roster. But you have two veterans back there that can kind of pick up the slack and, set the season off right while they heal and recover. So it's gonna be an interesting defense.
Yeah, you have Dr. David Chow, who's I believe physical therapist. He also does, I don't know if he does surgeries and such, but he's been around the NFL for a while. He actually also does it's great to listen to him sometimes on the Fantasy Footballers or Fantasy Pros. For fantasy football, he will tell you actually sometimes how long some of these, just by looking at the video, what it looked like and how long some of your guys will be out if you want to go to the waiver wire and such like that. But he gives really good details. And even he was saying that it's really, really difficult looking at, I think it was Brian Branch, that he might not even start until late in the season, maybe December. He's like, that it takes a toll on you, especially with that
torn Achilles in that type of position. Like, quarterbacks, maybe about a year, but I mean, still anyway, I mean, I think you're a year away, right? And his contract should be coming up soon too, where he's going to need a payday. So that's be an interesting situation there.
So based upon what we just went through, C-Dub, looking at all this, what is your grade that you would give the Detroit Lions on their offseason? I have something in my head that I'm rocking with, and what are you thinking?
And like I said earlier, I mean, there's not too many of these that really kind of excite me. I like the Blake Miller pick. You add your offensive line, you got to protect Goff. You've added a lot of pieces on defense. I'm gonna go with a C+ because there's not really too many changes that you made. Really, it feels like, and we had an off year last year, but I don't know, just C+ sounds like the right answer for me.
This is gonna sound a little odd, but I'm gonna go with an A here, and I'll give you the reasoning why. It's not so much that they didn't do anything crazy for me, but they filled in case people got hurt. I think 2 years ago they really learned, having 13 different players hurt, that was a huge problem, right? Then coming in last place last year, tied for last place, whatever you want to call it, right? Losing 7 coaches. They realize that they have to win this division first. And I think that's what they're concentrating on through their signings, through the trench guys, through the draft. They did the same thing. The offensive tackle from Clemson, then the edge from Michigan, then the linebacker from Michigan, then the 2 defensive tackles at the end of the draft. Like, I think they're really trying to solidify these front lines to manhandle the division. And I think that's how you win games. I really think that's how you start win again. Their offense, like you said, 28 games per. I'm sorry, 28 games per score, 28 points per game, and if they get a little bit more protection like that, and it keeps Jared Goff up, they can score more. They do have the, I do worry about the safety, but at the same point, I think that's the one part where they kind of did fall off in this offseason. On the other hand, I really do like their tight end depth here. They can run 13 personnel. They can run, with a fullback in the back with Zach Horton. I like the Isaiah Pacheco. He's still a downhill runner. Maybe he just needs a different place to go here. I don't know. I look at it.
I'm not a big fan of Pacheco this year. He's not been the same player, and he's just piling up these injuries. Like, he doesn't have the same type of explosiveness. His vision is just non-existent. I mean, we watched some of those games from last year, and it's awful. So, yeah. I mean, maybe the change of scenery will help him, but the Pacheco signing does not excite me.
It does to me, only because I see it as I don't know. I see him as a little bit better than Montgomery, personally.
You think he's a better player than David Montgomery?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's insane. That's crazy. I don't think so at all.
He's
a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a better player. Dave Montgomery, you can throw passes, he can catch the ball. He's a good blocker. Mm-hmm. He runs downhill very well. He's got good vision. Like, they complemented him and Gibbs very well. Mm-hmm. Right? Pacheco, I don't see those same type of elements with them. I would take Montgomery over Pacheco in a heartbeat.
I think that Pacheco he's gonna turn it on this year. I think he got too comfortable over in Kansas City. I thought that after a while it was just kind of like, okay, it's not my show, and I think it turned him off. I think now he's not going to get the same carries. I think we all know that this is Gibbs' show, right? But I think that the lack of the amount of carries that he does get, I think he's going to pay attention to that and understand that he has to do something with the rock when he gets it. So I think this is going to be a rejuvenation, in my opinion.
Okay. I do not see it the same way. If we took a bet, who do you think's gonna have a better season, Pacheco or David Montgomery? I'm taking Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, he's also going to. Yeah, but I mean, also Montgomery is going to be the starting running back on the Texans.
I said they got a collection of running backs. Woody Marks. We'll see if Mixon comes back. I mean,
Mixon is done, dude. Mixon is done.
Yeah, see.
And Woody Marks
still.
No. I think we're done with. I think we're done those two names, right? I think Mixon and Chubb are done. I also think Woody Marks. I don't think you're going to be starting Woody Marks over Montgomery. I think Montgomery is probably going to take that. That's just my opinion, but I mean,
yeah, for sure. But they're going to split carries, I would assume, right?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think everybody's splitting carries nowadays, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Unless you're Derrick Henry. They still just give him the rock because he's 290 pounds.
He was still splitting carries with what's his name? Was scoring all the touchdowns.
Who? Ali? No,
it was the smaller running back was like what 43. Let me see. I'll look him up real quick.
Everybody's smaller than him.
Justice Hill.
Oh, Justice Hill, yeah. Yeah. They always seem to have a collection of running backs over there that stay for a good.
Derrick Henry's like the worst goal line back, but he put Justice Hill in there. He'll score a touchdown. It's weird. Makes no sense.
All right, so we'll take. What'd you say? C+?
Yeah.
Okay, so C+ against my A. We'll see how it rocks and rolls, and we'll keep an eye on
C+. And I don't like Pacheco, and you took A, and you like Pacheco, so
yeah, I'll take Pacheco. I'll see how it goes. But anything else that we should discuss about the Detroit Lions before we take off?
Nah, I mean, this is very much a team that feels like they're gonna run it back, right? We got our guys, add some depth. We have 1, 2, 4 new starters between all 22. So
yeah. So I don't know. I think that they do have the potential to get their 7 new coaches kind of solidified, and the 1 year is kind of out of the way of brand new coaches, and let's rock and roll. You know what I mean? Let's see how it goes. So
Yeah. Now, if they don't have a good season, do you think Campbell's on the hot seat?
yes. Yes, because there's only so many times. I mean, you and I have had this conversation. It's the instant coffee league. You know what I mean? But he's been there. He's been there a while. He's had his guys. Now it really kind of turns into the new guys that do come in. Are you able to coach these guys and to put them into your system of what you want, and to coach your coaches to understand exactly how you want your players to perform? So
Yeah, I think the realistic shot to have won a Super Bowl was a couple years ago when they lost to the Commanders in the playoffs.
great game, by the way. Great game.
I think that was their shot.
Yeah.
You know, because teams are really hard to keep together, right? You know, and you know, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I like Dan Campbell. I hope they do well.
Mm-hmm.
But their entire offseason doesn't give me butterflies in my stomach, I guess.
That's fair enough. Well, if you guys want butterflies in your stomach and you want more football news and analysis, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and go to Apple and Spotify. Swipe up at the 5 stars, leave a comment, go to topdogcoverage.com and vote for the top 5 NFL teams on there. And follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and stay connected. Go to topdogcoverage@gmail.com and write us a little something, and we'll talk about it on the show. We'll go into the mail bag there. So, but with that being said, that is the Detroit Lions. It's your boy Dirty. It's your boy C-Dub. We will see you next episode. Who we got coming up next?
Ooh,
that's
a good question.
Yeah, I should probably look this up, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, I can tell you. We have the Vikings.
Ooh, the Vikings skull, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coming back to you with a little bit of the purple people eaters. We will come back to you with that. But until then, it's your boy Dirty, it's your boy C-Dub, and we are out. Peace.